Hi, Elena is here, and today I have the absolute pleasure to speak with Diane Harrington, a New York-based actress, writer, and producer. She wrote and produced a number of films, including Crumb Cake, where she also starred. Short film also won numerous awards in categories Best Short, Best Actress, and Best Director. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you.
Congratulations with all those well-deserved awards
Thank
on your
you.
film.
It started out as a film that I was going to make more of a feature. And then when I came on to NSPF, I wanted to have this story, but it just wasn't making sense because they're short plays, 10 to 12 minutes. So I took the characters, I took the circumstances, and I changed things around a little bit to fit that medium. And then I was in it with Carol Ann DeMarco and Leanne West. And the chemistry between the three of us as sisters really worked well. So I said, let's do a short film. And also the reason why I did the short film was because, in order to get work, you have to put out work. So I wanted to kind of, it was like a calling card kind of a thing. So it's had different incarnations, and now I'm working on possibly blending the play version and the short film version, and either I'm toying back and forth between a series and a feature. I'm just not sure because I've had so much positive feedback and so many people want to see these characters live more. So it's been really exciting.
And you build such dynamic relationships between one another. I admire Leanne West and Carol DeMarco as actresses, and I worked with Leanne on one of the plays, and they're amazing actresses, both of them. And how was it for you to work with them?
Oh, it was great. They really they brought the characters to life, so that that was really good.
Because you made it so alive. The relationships, it's still related to me too, because I have two sisters, and sometimes when I watch the film, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of my family, all the fights and laughs and love they share, and arguments and real moments that we can feel engaged.
Yeah. Well, like you, I do have two sisters as well. I'm the oldest of the three, and
me too.
Yeah, and the three of us are so different. We have definitely some of our mannerisms are alike, and some of our facial expressions. And then every once in a while, if you turn a certain angle or whatever, you'll say, oh yeah, I can see the resemblance that, your sisters or something. But for the most part, physically we look different. Our paths were pretty different as well, and our personalities are so different. So I took aspects of that. My sisters keep on thinking that, oh my God, this is about me, and and I took the differences in our personalities and used that, and I used some things that happened from our past, but I try to tell them all the time that even though there's similarities with the sisters, to them, all three of those sisters in Crumb Cake are me. There are different things that happen to me, different, aspects of my personality and stuff like that I kind of brought to life. And I think, when you do write something, every character is borrowed from you somewhere inside. So
it comes alive as you write.
Yes.
kind of talks to you when it kind of writes. Sometimes I heard this many times, that many writers share with me that it's not like they write the character at some point becomes alive and the story writes itself. Isn't it
Right.
amazing,
Yeah.
fascinating
Yeah.
to think this way? It's like the script, the story existed. You were the messenger who were able to put it in writing.
I like that.
Interesting. Yes, and the chemistry between three of you is amazing, dynamic, and so engaging. And you made it alive for sure. Yeah, and so it's, as you mentioned, this story is based partly on your personal story, right?
Yes, but my mom is fine.
Thank God.
Yeah, she's alive and well.
That's why it's partly.
Yeah. No, she's good. Yeah, and in the story Crumb Cake, I'm not married and I don't have any children, and in life I am married and I have a daughter. So some things are just aided the story a little bit better.
Sure, it's like a collective character. It's built from different aspects, as you say, of your life and imagination. Of course, like all stories should be. Yes, and you mentioned in the beginning, so you like to move forward with this story and turn it into the feature.
Yeah.
Are you working on the full-length script right now, or
I am. I am.
Could you share like a couple of maybe fun details what you want to add to the story, so we can be excited to wait for this to develop to the feature? I'm always so curious.
Well, yeah, no, it keeps on going back and forth because I've had a lot of people that have told me that I have enough to make a series, and that's interesting, and I probably could, but I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm just writing and see what comes out of it. So, I did have to take a little bit of a pause because, I was working on game night and, and some other, personal things that were going on and stuff like that. So, so I did take a little bit of a pause, and I'm hoping to, get back to it again. So we'll see where it goes.
Sure. And I'm very excited to hear how it develops, and looking for the updates of Crumb Cake.
Thank you.
Sure. And the next, the project you're currently working on is a film, Game Night, by Rob Figueroa.
Yes.
Figueroa. I hope I say it right. Give me, Rob.
And his company, he's partnered with his girl, Lisa, I'm going to pronounce her name wrong, Monticelli. Monticelli, and their production company is the Four Figs production. So that's it's a movie, a short film that Rob wrote, and then the four of us workshopped it together, because also the fourth person in it is my husband, Anthony Robert Grasso. And so the four of us, we're all friends as well. So, we went out to dinner and, just we're talking about it. He was telling us about his idea, and, we were like, yeah, we'd love to be a part of it, and, so on and so forth. So it's really kind of cool, because we realized that we only first started talking about it like October, November. And as of last weekend, it's in the can. So it took us less than a year to get it made, from conception to, filming. So that's kind of cool.
This is amazing progress.
Yeah.
Well, this is what friendship does, and trust and relationship. I think many films, especially short films, are made within friends and family, and they have amazing progress this way.
Yes. Yeah.
Many ways, in many stories that I heard. And this is the second project you're working with your husband on.
Yes.
He directed. So Anthony Grasso is your husband, who directed Crumb Cake.
Yes.
And he won Best Director for Crumb Cake in one of the festivals, and now you're working with him on Game Night. And
yes. And he played my husband in Game Night.
Nice. Is it different to work with your spouse on the set, or it's like same professional stuff?
Anthony and I knew each other years prior to us dating. We had known each other through friends, and we didn't. It was more of like a passing thing. Like every few years I would see him, because we had mutual friends that we were still both, friends with. So if I had a party or something, they would say, I'm going to bring a couple of friends. And Anthony happened to be one of the friends that they would bring. And then I saw him in a play with our mutual friends, and I was blown away by his talent, and I just thought he was absolutely amazing. And then years later I saw that he was getting a lot of work. He was the Olive Garden guy for a while. He was doing that big campaign, so I would see him on the TV all the time. And then I ran into our mutual friend, and he said that he was teaching, and I really wanted to take his class because I just thought he was so talented. So I started taking his class in January of 2000. So he's always been more like my teacher. So I started taking his class in January of 2000, and then by October 2000 we were dating, and we got married in September 2002. So everything progressed very fast. So it's always been a relationship where we've always worked together, and this is definitely, we're both very passionate about it, and so it's so much fun to work together and to be together and share our passion with each other. So so it's not weird. It wasn't weird for him to direct me. I think sometimes, being that I was the producer, he was also a producer on it. As the writer, certain times he might want to tell me that he would want to change things. So prior to us filming it, I was kind of like, I don't know, as the writer, if I want you to change things. So sometimes, we would, I don't want to say argue, but, we would go back and forth as far as, is it right for the script, and, so on and so forth. But once I got to set, I was like, okay, I'm no longer the producer. I'm no longer the writer. I'm the actor, and he's my director. And that's what I'm doing. And then acting with him is always, it's always a great thing to be able to act with him, because I do think that he's, one of the best actors out there. But those were only two projects. There was a project that he had done a few years ago that was called The Long Commute, and he acted in that, but I produced that. I was one of the producers on that. Our daughter acted in it and played his daughter in it. And I was also like a script supervisor. He and Miguel Garzon wrote it together. So I would, kind of like throw my 2 cents in. And then I also did crafts for their production. Trying to think if and then we've been in a play together, and then the play version of Crumb Cake, which was actually called For My Daughter, he directed that as well. So again, the chemistry there just worked for us all to work together. So, yeah, and we're hoping to do more things together. So
it sounds like you have a great collaboration on stage and film, and great partnership.
we do.
And great creativity, your creative, how to say, union.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations. That's great. And you've done lots of work on TV and on New York stage. What were your favorite roles? You've done like TV shows, including for ABC, and maybe number of recurring roles and guest star roles. So which were your like favorite ones on TV and on stage? Maybe.
I'm trying to, it was a while back when I did, because I was recurring on soaps. I did recurring parts on All My Children and One Life to Live, which, was always fun to go in that. And, being a little girl growing up in the New York area, watching soap operas, that was the dream. So that was fun to do that. And then I was on 100 Center Street a couple of times. Unfortunately, because then, once I had my daughter, I did take a bit of a pause. So once I came back to it, I have not guest starred on any local TV shows yet. So I've been in a couple of feature films for friends. One which I had mentioned to you was the one that David Bellantoni was the first AD on.
Evil Insight.
Yes, yeah, and that I play a very distraught mother in the beginning of the movie. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I saw it on IMDb.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And then a couple of weekends ago, like I told you, we went to the Brooklyn Film Festival, and Forgive Me, Father was there, that I had like a featured role, and also my husband was in it. And it was a friend of ours made a feature film, which was really, really quite magnificent, and directed himself, and he wrote it. And so that's kind of cool, and it won the audience award for the film festival. So that was fun. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm writing and auditioning, and that's basically what I'm doing. I'm the mother of a college girl. So,
you have few full-time jobs. A
yes,
mother,
yeah.
a wife, an actor, producer, writer, 5.
Yeah. This was her first year of college, so that was really daunting to have that. But I think we did good.
Which college did she go?
She goes to Providence College in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a ways. She made the rule that she wanted to be a minimum of 3 hours away from us, because she was afraid that we would want to come and visit.
Oh, kids. They don't realize how they miss their parents later. I was just like this, and now when my family is so far away, miles and miles away in Russia, and now I cannot see them more often than once in 6 months or once in a year. Now I realize that how much I miss them.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
And I appreciate their care and everything, over control.
Well, that's good. That's good that, I guess we come to the point where we do realize.
Yes, we do. I'm sure I predict the future. But she's studying acting as well, right?
No. Yeah, I know. She She wants to be a lawyer.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. She's fantastic. She's really talented, but yeah, she doesn't want to.
Congratulations with a lawyer in the family.
Yeah, I know that'll
I
be.
came from law as well. I
Oh
came from
yeah.
law to acting.
Oh, oh, you're a lawyer?
In Russia. I was in Russia, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's impressive.
Thank you. Oh, so you mentioned that when you were a little girl, and also it's on your website and in your bio that you were obsessed with the films and shows. You watched them with your father, and when you and also you said that you watched my favorite actress back then, and Lucy Ball. I'm like, that's so cool. So we have a similar taste. So I like that epoch, you know.
Yeah.
70s, 80s. I love American actresses and actors at that time. They're fascinating. And so I wanted to ask you, so to dream about acting is not the same as pursuing it. And what was your greatest challenge uh, to pursue your dream and become an actor? And was your family supportive?
Um, yeah, no, when I wanted, when I graduated from high school, I did want to pursue acting in college, and my mother said, absolutely not. I am not paying for you to go to college so you can act. So I said, oh, okay. So I went to college and, just studied whatever. I was going to maybe become a nurse like her. And then I would move into the city and, do it that way. But I cannot handle blood. So that was not a good avenue for me to take. So I ended up getting involved and doing many other different jobs. I was even going to become a stockbroker. I was working for brokerage firms and, but my path led me back again to acting. And I would say about 6 years later, I told my mom, and I had moved out of the house at the time too. And I just told her, I decided that I really want to pursue acting. This is what I'm passionate about, and this is what I want to do. And she said to me, she said, well, then I think that's great. If that is what you want to do for your life, then I will support you 100%. So I guess, she said if I could have been a dancer, I would have been a dancer. So she said, I want you to follow your dreams. So it was, the complete opposite of what she was saying back then. And I guess she just needed me to mature a little bit and have, a clear head about doing it before I really decided to pursue it. So she's always been supportive, but nobody really knows what you're doing when you do it. One day she said to me, she's like, I think you'd be a really good newscaster. Why don't you do that? It's so much more than that. It's not just saying my mom thinks I'd be really good. So, I'm applying. So I guess with some of my family members, it was probably a cute thing that I was doing. Ah, isn't that sweet? She's pursuing acting, maybe one of these days, she'll settle down and get married and realize that's a pipe dream. So there's support, and then there's, support. So it goes back and forth with that. So on top of that, then I guess you really just, honestly, you need a really thick skin to just keep on doing it day in and day out, because not everybody's going to like you. And, and that's enough in real life too, that you realize not everybody's going to like you. That's just the way it is, and that's okay. But as an actor, you know, when somebody doesn't like you, it's very traumatic. And you know, you want everybody to like you, you know, as Sally Field said in her dream, you know, her Oscar win. And you want to be picked, you want to be the one. And it's just hard. There's so many of us want to get that job. So many of us are up for the job. And then it doesn't matter if you're talented. I mean, it's great if you're talented on top of it, but you know, it doesn't have to always do with that. It's, you know, timing, talent, type, you know, there's all these different variables that come into it. So it's not just going to school and becoming a doctor and, you know, you have this degree and then you go and get a job. It's not like that. And then even, you don't even have to go to school for some people. I mean, some people just, you know, are absolutely gorgeous and they get the job because they're gorgeous and you know they have a sweet disposition, so
they fit into the market standard.
Yeah.
So basically it's very easy to cast them. Usually some people are this way, they're very easy for the standard, so agents just see the perfect fit for the most of the, you know, characters that are in demand at this point.
Right.
So, and character actors are different. They may have to make their way, their own way. And usually it comes with later in years, is I think. I've spoken about this also to a few other wonderful ladies, you know, Susan McDonald and Marianne Goodell, and they all say the same about maturity. You know, they become much better as they age, and I agree with that.
Yeah, and they're both so talented too. Yeah, it's I don't know, and I guess as you get older and you age into yourself or whatever it is too, there's a more of an attitude with, you don't care as much if you know 5 out of 10 people like you, or casting directors or whatever, you know, you do build that thick skin that it's just like, either you're going to like me or you're not, you know, it is what it is. Right.
That's,
you know,
uniqueness, you build your uniqueness. That's important. I think that's the point of success and the key to success. And it doesn't come after the college, never. It comes with a life experience as you grow, as you develop, as you struggle for life, as you love and hate and live, right? So
and that too, I mean, that's, you know, I think that's the older that we get too, and the wiser we get, and the more, you know, we've lived and stuff, that is making us so much better in our craft as well. Because my husband always says, he's an acting teacher as well, and he always says, you know, you have to live and you have to constantly fill the well, so you have, you know, things to borrow from when you're doing a job. So,
and you also create your work based on your experience, on your life experience, right? So this is what I love. This is my favorite, because this channel is about creativity, creating your content, creating your work, and sharing with other people to encourage them to do the same, to put your personality, to find your voice. You know, so and I want to encourage more and more people to do this, and that's why I love to talk to people like you who create their own films, their own plays, and share them, the stories with others. They teach more than you know, than they teach more than, you know, some kind of a standard, like everyone likable by everyone. Films which fit into Hollywood standards,
right?
You know, like fight and like some thrillers, some love stories, some basic stuff that always shown to us from the big screen. No, we want to create something personal, personalized, something extremely personal that touches other people's hearts.
Yes,
Why is acting, I think, is important, and producing.
Yeah.
I know it does, and it takes lots of energy and time to produce a film. Could you share your experience with this? What does it take for you to produce a film? To produce, I mean, it's a little harder, I guess, to produce the film rather than play. So, what's your experience related to this? To pull together story, cast, location, equipment.
I think the hardest part that I've come across recently is just funding.
They like to talk about this
Yeah.
as well, yes.
Yeah, I mean, none of us have an endless supply of cash. You know, I keep on waiting to hit the lotto. So, you know, I would, because then I'd love, you know, my husband and I talk about this all the time, having our own, you know, big production company. I mean, we have our production company, but, you know, have something where, you know, we're constantly working and creating. And I think that's a big part of it. The people that we've worked with in the past, the crew and, you know, fellow actors, that to me, that's the easy stuff. Sometimes there's just like, oh my God, you know, I have like 4 people in mind for this particular part. And it's like, how am I going to figure this out? You know, I guess, you know, you don't want to say it, but I guess you would have to audition them if to figure out who fits the best and you know, chemistry. But so, and also the crew that we've had in the past, people that have, you know, been DPs and sound and music, all the people that we worked with on Crumb Cake, and also just recently Game Night and The Long Commute and so on and so forth. They're outstanding, and I would constantly use them again and again and again. And then, you know, I don't know, I guess there's a will, you know, where there's a will, there's a way as far as location goes. You know, you figure it out. Those kind of things you just figure out. I guess really, honestly, the hardest is the funding.
How do you have a specific, like, in a structure to fund your projects? Do you fundraise always, or you just go to call your friends who might have been interested in financing?
Well,
You go for loan?
I've done both. I've funded my own, and then just recently the game night was a crowd funder kind of a thing that we put on social media.
Right, I saw it on Facebook. Yes, by the way, I saw the campaign.
Yeah,
you're like 99%.
Yeah, yeah. No, but when we got to production day, we were at 100%.
Oh.
Now we're going to have to go through the whole post, but that's a whole different story. But
congratulations, it's important. So you achieved your goal.
Yeah. It's
going to happen. Yes, it's going to happen. Hooray! Yes. Oh, that's really important. Yes. Besides the idea, money. We always talk, and I always like to talk about financial side of the industry. How many more wonderful stories and projects would we see if they wouldn't just be stopped because of lack of financing?
Right.
So how many more would we see, and much of great quality, great stories, stories that teach us life and resonate with us, but we can't see them because they are not produced.
Right.
So wonderful what you're doing, and thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And you also provide with the jobs, you know. So you hire a location manager, you hire a crew, you hire a camera person and editors, and you give jobs.
Yeah.
So that's what the producer does, and this is very important. So I wish we have less problems and more sources in the future for funding talented new independent films.
Yes,
I wish for
yeah.
And yes, and so please share your website, Diane, your social media, and links to your work, and so people can find more about you and what you do.
Well, my website is dianeharrington.net. Social media. I'm so bad at social media. My husband yells at me all the time. See, I don't even my
I'll enclose it. I know your
okay.
Instagram.
Yeah.
It's Insta?
Yeah, no, the Instagram is just Diane Harrington Diane Harrington Grasso. So there we go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
You don't share your Facebook now?
Oh, Facebook is just Diane Harrington Grasso.
Yeah, nice. So I'll enclose those into video and the contact card, so people can see your information and find more about you. Also, you are on IMDb, and also you are on YouTube. I saw interview from Garden State Film Festival.
Oh, they're fantastic.
With then your husband, and I saw a couple other, I think, your reels as well, and I think crumb cake trailer, and not much there, but everything is very professional and valuable. So cool. Oh, Diane, thank you so much for being with me today. I had such
thank you for having me.
Talk to you. Is anything else you want to share with us? Any fun stories, sad stories? Anything you want to wish?
I definitely want to stay away from the sad. No sad stories here.
Okay.
No. All is good.
Any wish any wishes for youngsters, people who start in the industry, people who wish to produce their own stuff, and they kind of have a fear to ask for financing to write the story? Do you have any suggestions and wishes for people who are starting in the industry as actors, as producers, and writers?
I think what I would say is, if there's something that you don't know, just ask. There's always going to be someone there that is happy to help out. And I encourage everyone to write their own stories and try to get them made. And because there's a lot of gratification in doing it. And it's fun, and you meet people along the way, and it's just such a great experience, especially when you're doing everything. And I think that's an important thing too, because when you're going through this process, it's really helpful to know what each person is going through and what each person is experiencing. And this way, when you make it big or whatever, you have that appreciation for those people that are behind the scenes working for you and pulling for you and making sure that things happen. So I think it's just a really good education, and just keep on doing it.
Thank you so much. So thank you again for sharing this hour in this wonderful afternoon with me, and this video will be out very soon, within a few days, and I make my first post on Instagram today, and I tag you.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Elena. It was so nice. Thank you.
You watched podcast Boost Your Creativity and Bank Account with Elena. Thank you for being with me today. Please like and subscribe this channel on YouTube at EDC World Inc. Insta is EDC World Inc. This podcast became an official selection at Morgana Film Festival and is screening now on platform on the website morganafilmfestival.com/trailers. Please support us, liking and subscribing to this channel so I can create more content.